I don't know how to feel about this one, guys. I don't know how to feel about this one, little wisps. I don't know, man. It is certainly setting the tone immediately from the get-go. Cannot deny that. 100% setting the tone. As far as I know, warnings for this visual novel game, etc. It does have gore in it. It's, as far as I understand, it's psychological. I don't know too much about what's happening. It basically is just like the tagline for it is like a family with their pumpkin-headed son, but I'm pretty certain that there's more to it than just that. So we're gonna find out what's going on exactly. So let's go ahead. I already went into the preferences. It is gonna stay on window. Everything else looks fine. It says the gore is on, so the gore will be present, but it looks like it's all watercolor, so it shouldn't be anything too awful. Yeah, glossary doesn't seem to do anything. Credits just shows us people who made it. Timeline doesn't do anything. Afterward, yeah, so none of these other things do anything yet. I think I have to play it first. So I'm just checking my levels. Okay, everything sounds like it's fine, so let's go on and get in. Graphic visuals are enabled by default to censor go to preferences. This will not affect the narration. Nobody knew how it happened. I'm not gonna scream, but that did just sound like a tire screech and a thunk. A boy, barely reaching double digits in years, was lying dead in the driveway. Gray and red pulp was painted everywhere. So this is going straight in. Back the car up already! How did he get under there? Lying down to draw? Some freak force of nature? I'm trying, woman! An innocent life was taken too soon and too violently. Was it the will of some cruel god? A woman ran to the body, attempting to reattach fragments of the jaw back onto the skull. One figure jumped out of the car in pursuit while the other was frozen in place outside. She had watched the full event unfold in front of her. That's a lot of trauma. Baby, speak to me, please. He's dead. No, he's not. Look, he's still moving. Don't you hear him crying? Oh, that's someone who's in denial. You've gone mad. And you've gone deaf. We need to save our son. There's still hope left. Drive him to the hospital. His brains are all over the pavement. He's already left this world. Oh, no, he hasn't. You're a liar. Help me. But... Now if you care about me and your children... He can't stay out here like this. Bring him inside before the neighbors come. We'll deal with this later. It's okay. It's okay. You can hug me tighter, darling. We didn't mean it. He's still alive. Mommy, what's going on? Don't worry. There was just a little accident, but everything's gonna be okay. I promise. We should replace his head. Quick, our garden. A pumpkin should be the best size. The perfect nuclear family torn apart. Their lives would forever be changed. Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife but couldn't keep her. He put her in a pumpkin shell, and there he kept her very well. So straight up, they run over their kid, exploding his head literally everywhere in front of their other child. And instead of, like, making her just face what has happened and, like, actually, like, doing something, the husband's like, yeah, I'll just listen to my crazy ass wife, who's, like, full throttle in denial. Terrifying. Hold on, hold on. It was building up for no reason at all. The mother stood panting and admiring her creation, wiping off any blood from her hands onto her apron. It was a little crude, yes, but it worked better than she expected. Yeah, that poor girl has some trauma. She's got some extensive childhood trauma now. Outside, the father stared into the sky while the daughter couldn't look away from the driveway mess. Yeah, she's just staring at her brother's, brains right now. Her head hurt from crying her heart out. It's going to rain soon. It'll wash away everything as if nothing happened. Are we really not going to do anything? I'll think of something. Daddy is tougher than you think. For now, humor your mother by going along. I'll be hosing down the driveway. How can you smile right now, my dude? I'm scared. I hate this. The father reassuringly patted her on the shoulder. Though he was a man of few words, the father did love his wife, but most importantly, he loved his image. Yeah, of course he fucking does. He didn't want his family to be branded as miscreants. They just committed vehicular manslaughter. There had to be a way of disposing of the body. Dinner is ready too. Please come inside. How gory is this about to be? Okay. So, not that gory yet. The two were greeted by the son, who was sitting in Grandpa's old wheelchair. The most bizarre sight, however, was a pumpkin in place of a human head, its face carved into a welcoming grin. One could still see the remains of the original crushed head within the holes. Oh my god. This isn't even, gory to me, but, the mental image of it is... Ugh. See, the head looks just like him. He said he likes his chair, but wishes it wasn't so squeaky. Dear, could you do me a favor and purchase some oil tomorrow? Of course. Well, everyone, don't just stand there catching flies. Let us wash our hands and begin the dinner prayer so we can eat. Of course, it's... prayers going on here. No, I wanted to see the rest of the body, but this thing is covering it. There was little talk at the table. What was there to say anyway? Despite the gloomy atmosphere, the mother was unusually lively. Yeah, I want to be able to see the body. Here comes the airplane. Oh, she's feeding it. She was spoon feeding him? The daughter grimaced at her, shoving mashed potatoes into the son's mouth. Yeah, that's around the same face I'm making right now, girl. The girl looked at the father for guidance, but he did not return her gaze. The daughter focused her attention back to the food on her plate. It smelled good, but the meat resembled an awful lot like her brother's. She dry heaved. Yeah, that's fair, girl. Oh no, they're gonna make her fucking sleep in the same room as... Oh. Yeah, she's got some trauma. After silently washing the dishes with her mother, the daughter headed straight to bed. She had no energy left in her. Oh. That's disturbing, the squeakiness. It's rude leaving your brother at the table, you know. Woman. He's going to sleep with me? Of course, why wouldn't he? You two have always shared the bedroom. Why is he so hard to move? His joints are all locked up. I swear he was much more relaxed this afternoon. Yeah, that's the rigor mortis. Using all of her strength, the grumbling mother laid the son in his bed. Actually, I want to check something. How long does it take for rigor mortis to actually set into a corpse? I am pulling it up right now. How long does it take rigor mortis to set in? It takes 2 to 6 hours for rigor mortis to set in, which means that they have had this dead corpse in their house for a minimum of 2 hours. A minimum of 2 hours. The onset begins with the muscles of the face and then spreads to the muscles during the next 4 to 6 hours, which means if, his limbs are currently difficult to move, that means that they've had that corpse in there for at least 4 hours. Probably. And then it's gonna bloat. And then, oh god. It's gonna... Oh my gods. Okay, so apparently there's 6 stages of it, which begin within 2 hours and peak at 12. And then it could go on for another day or 2. So the first one is absent. It's what it's called for the stage, which means that small amount of the oxygen kind of gets out and the muscles are soft and musical. Minimal is the second stage, and that's when the muscles start to turn stiff and the face muscles are affected first. Moderate is where the body muscles become hardening. It becomes obvious the body is no longer flexible. Advanced is the fourth stage, where most of the body is now stiff and does not bend at all. 5 is complete, where all the muscles become hard and inflexible. And 6 is past, and that's when the body now moves into livor mortis and decomposition, which is where it starts to, like, bloat. Like, livor mortis is where, like, it, like, where, like, the color changes, and it starts to decompose, and I am just, like, I am beyond myself at the moment, just, like, thinking of, like, the fact that this woman is just, like, playing dolls with, like, her son's dead body, and then, like, making her daughter sleep next to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the... Whoa! 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 I don't like it. I don't like it. She first tucked in the son, then the daughter, making sure to kiss each of their foreheads. Sweet dreams, you two. Good night, Mom. With a flick of the switch, the room fell into darkness. Even with the daughter's back turned, she knew those carved eyes were boring into her. Ugh. 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 That is so rough. Have a good day at work. Remember what I've told you. Dear, that is final. Wake up, it's time for school. Her brother was still laying in bed, so it wasn't a nightmare after all. As per usual, the mother tied the daughter's bow, blue, her favorite color. Your brother needs to stay at home for a while so he can recover from his injuries. Listen, whatever you do, don't tell anyone what happened yesterday. It'll be our family's little secret. Do you understand? Okay. I'm glad you're so well behaved. Mommy and Dad are trying their best despite our predicament. There's already, like, gunk right here. The girl shuffled off towards the school bus, completely bewildered at the mother's nonchalant attitude. After waving the daughter goodbye, the older woman returned to the house. I want to look at the body so bad, but this thing covers it every time. Only the mother and son remained. Thankfully, his body had loosened up again, so it was easier to carry him out of bed and into the wheelchair. Don't get so full of yourself. You still have to study at home. Oh, don't give me that look either. You know dog eyes are my weakness. Today was typically the day she spent cleaning the entire house. Despite her being a stay-at-home mother, it was a full job taking care of the estate, not to mention her family. How in the world did these people run over their kid? I really want to, like, understand. I would love to comprehend how that mistake was done. Because the girl was already standing outside, and the mother and the father were in the car. So, like, did not a single one of them, like, look for their son and, like, see him on the ground or otherwise? Because, like, they were talking about how he was, like, on the ground with, like, his head where the tires would basically be. Like, how do you not? Okay. She pulled out the vacuum cleaner. Several hours of busy work would be good to take her mind off of yesterday's events. She's just vacuuming. Are you thirsty? Would you like me to bring you a drink? Do not pour water on this fucking thing. You're not? That's fine. If you need anything, just call for me and I'll be there in a jiffy. It was a lovely day today, and her son could use some fresh air. Do not bring that thing outside. The mother pushed him out to the veranda, I think it's a veranda, behind the house. It faced the family's pumpkin patch, so no nosy neighbors could see him. Humming, the mother entered a comfortable cleaning rhythm, letting all worries slip away. The sky suddenly opened up. That honestly, like, made me jump. Like, the sound of the thunder, like, actually made my, like, spine snap straight. And I was like, ugh. Even though I like thunder. God. The mother was glad for the sudden rain. Their pumpkin patch desperately needed it. Wait, her son was still outside. Oh, now it's wet. The mother dragged him inside and threw several towels on him. She pressed against them, drying him as fast as she could. What a fool she was, taking him outside really was a bad idea. She promised herself she wouldn't slip up like that again. Oh dear, your clothes are soaking wet. I can't have you catching a cold. I'm going to have to change them if that is all right with you. I get like a flash, but then I really want to like actually look at this drawing, and I can't. It's frustrating me. Dinner was again silent. Usually the daughter was the chattiest, bragging forever about what she had learned in school or in her books that day. Now she was poking her stew. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. The daughter refused to respond, huffing in annoyance. The mother turned her attention to her husband. Your son and I had a great time together. He was very quiet, but did complete his required reading. I consider that great progress. I'm heading to the bar. Dear, but we haven't finished yet. I'll be back soon. He's like, yeah, I need to get the fuck out of this house. Leaves his poor daughter there, though. Like, dude. Goodness. What has gotten into everyone? After dinner and its cleanup ended, the mother and daughter went their separate ways. The mother fell fast asleep, but in the daughter's bedroom, the girl was looking for any sign of life in her brother. You're not gonna find it. I'm sorry, dude. Oh, God, it's like, all the blood. All the blood in the pumpkin. No. Gross. Pale skin, dried blood around his neck, and a burgundy discoloration in the arms and hands. It just wasn't human. Yeah, it's a corpse now. Do not touch it. Dude, I don't want to scream. I do not want to scream, but I feel like it's going to jump scare me and I'm going to scream. I don't want to scream. She reached out for his arm. Touching her brother was a familiar occurrence. Play fighting, sharing food, she interacted with him, as any sibling would. Even if the two had spent hours in snow, she had never touched a person so cold before. The daughter shrunk back. I am so, terrified. I hate this. I literally have, one hand over my eyes, kind of, to, block out the majority of the screen so I can only read what's down there and not see anything else. And I hate it. I hate it. She lacked the heart to continue calling him her brother. The figure tucked gently in the bed was an it. Without a word, she pulled the covers over the body. Yeah, I would too, bitch. I would. It's school time. Please get dressed. That thing is going to start, rotting. When the daughter awoke, she found the body back to leering at her. The mother probably came in and pulled the thing back down. The blanket must have slipped off during the night, uncovering the head once more. A fly landed on the pumpkin. Yeah. That's not surprising. Hello, who is this? Yes, I am the mother. Yes, ma'am, I assure you everything is fine with my son. He's been feeling a little under the weather lately. Thank you, goodbye. The teacher on the phone sounded incredibly displeased. Timeliness and attendance has always been one of the family's virtues, so the mother was quite embarrassed. In addition, the mother felt guilty for not informing the teacher about her son's absence ahead of time, but her husband kept instructing her not to speak about her son's accident. Yeah. The father did not return the night. To help alleviate the awkwardness, the mother attempted some small talk. So, how was your day today? Learn anything fun? Kind of. Was dinner to your liking? You need to eat your vegetables to grow big and strong. I guess. Your brother was telling me a funny story today about how you both accidentally broke a vase by playing tag. You were so horrified you ran out of the house and climbed a tree to hide. He tried to save you by climbing the tree, but ended up getting stuck there too. You two must have been up there for an hour by the time your father and I came home from the grocery store. I swear you kids are always up to mischief whenever your parents are out of the house. The mother chuckled and spoon-fed some more broccoli to the son. The house was starting to smell. It was musty, like meat starting to spoil. The daughter knew exactly what was causing that odor, and it made her stomach churn. After dinner, we can put on the radio. The Lone Ranger might be on. You like cowboys, don't you? No, not really. I'm heading to bed. Fine, then. Your brother and I will enjoy the program without you, Miss Grumpy Pants. Ugh. It's the worst. This is the worst. The mother's first task of the day after sending the daughter and her husband off was to attend to her son. She hadn't noticed it before, but certain areas of the child's skin were discolored. It had been the same green and blue hues of a bruise, but the eerie marbling patterns were nothing like she had seen before. At least it was faint. Were you playing with markers? Oh no. Oh no. She's about to, like, rip apart this corpse's skin. Ugh. 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 Pulling out a sponge, she washed the spot, but it refused to scrub off. She retrieved her makeup kit to cover up the blemishes. Tomorrow she would look for a stronger cleaner for his skin. Gross. Sweetheart, could you pass the salt to your brother? He looks like he needs some. The daughter hesitated. But he's... okay. I appreciate you being so well-behaved since your brother's injury. It makes Mommy's job just a little easier. Don't worry, he'll be back to running around with you in no time. Oh no. Again, the father did not return for dinner. The daughter was beginning to think that he had run away for good. She did not blame him, but why couldn't he take her with him? Yeah, exactly. As the women were cleaning up, the door flung open. It was Father. The girl's nose crinkled at the heavy liquor smell coming from him. Home. Head to bed. No dinner needed. Took you long enough. Not happy. Our son needs you right now. I don't want to hear your nagging, woman. The daughter sprinted to her room before she became caught in the crossfire. She could already hear the screaming in the parents' bedroom. Knowing her mother, this could take hours. Gross. Oh my god, the pumpkin is molding. The pumpkin itself is molding, which is a direct metaphor for the body. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. Like the several days before, the siblings found themselves staring at each other in bed. It was becoming tough to look at him. The foulness of his scent made her eyes burn like moldy salami. She failed to suppress a tremble as she noticed the white fuzz growing in the vegetable's eye. She felt nothing but sympathy for the corpse. He deserved a proper burial like Grandpa, not kept around in this desecrated state. Brother, are you in heaven? Are you at peace right now? It's fucked up. How gross must that smell? How bad does it... It's like, what, day 6? Day 5? 5-day-old corpse smell. I don't know if Google's going to give me anything, but the FBI agent watching me probably is confused. Let's see. I want to know, what does it smell like? I want to know what it smells like. Oh, gross. Okay, so for 3 to 5 days post-mortem, organs continue to decompose. The body fluids leak from orifices and the skin turns a greenish color. And then within 8 to 10 days, it goes from green to red as the blood decomposes and gases accumulate, which is where the bloating happens. And then 2 weeks post-mortem, teeth and nails fall out. And then 1 month post-mortem, the corpse begins to liquefy into a dark sludge. Dark sludge, specifically, is what it does say. And it says that from that point forward, it goes into... It's no longer decomposition, it is now skeletonization, which I did not know was a word, but I guess it makes sense. And that could take anywhere from 1 month to several years, depending on the environment. Wow! It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Gross. 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 Ugh. I don't even like the smell of, like, Chinese takeout the day after if you accidentally leave it outside of the fridge. I cannot imagine a 5-day-old corpse that you've been stuffing food inside of, a pumpkin on top of them. I cannot. Ugh. The entire family was keeping to themselves in the living room. Yeah, I would too. The father was reading a newspaper, the daughter playing with Jax, the son sitting silently in the corner, and the mother frantically running around spraying as much bug spray as she could because of the flies. I bet it's because of... Yep. Uh-huh. These flies are everywhere. I'm so sick of their buzzing. Maybe take the corpse out of your home. I'm worried that all of the noise is bothering our son. He needs as much sleep as possible to recover. Dear, do you think something went bad in the pantry? If you help me move some boxes, I can clean it out today. Dear, are you listening? The father threw his newspaper on the floor. I'm tired of playing pretend. You're taking this too far. What do you mean? As in, I'm disposing of his body properly. I am digging his grave, and you will not stop me. Without hesitation, he left the room and returned with a shovel. He grabbed the wheelchair. The mother also latched onto it, pulling it to her side with all of her might. Left and right, the bloated body was jostled between the parents, almost ready to topple over of its seat. Oh, gross. Please don't fall on the girl. No, leave him alone. You can't keep him like this. Yes, I can. He's our son. Stop scaring him. For heaven's sake, he's green and smells like sewage. Does that sound normal to you? The wife should always listen to the husband. Don't be foolish. Once he's buried in the pumpkin patch, we shall never speak of this again. A couple inches to the right and that china glass would have blinded him. Don't you dare take him away from me. Oh, God. Her outburst was completely uncharacteristic to the father and daughter. It shocked them. Who or what had possessed the mother? Please, we can get you some help. You're being hysterical. The mother opened a nearby drawer and grabbed a large knife. She was a good cook. She is about to fucking murder that man. She is about to murder him. She is about to murder the husband and put him in a wheelchair. And then that poor girl is just gonna have to go to fucking school like this. Oh my God. Sir, hit her with a shovel. Hit her with the shovel. Sir. The mother opened a nearby drawer and grabbed a large knife. She was a good cook and she knew her cutlery well. The woman looked terrified, shaking, holding that knife, but wholly prepared to strike in defense. I will die before ever letting my children get in harm's way. You ran over your son. You're a danger to us. I'll do it. I'm not afraid to do it. The father dropped the shovel, backing away slowly until he was trapped against a wall. Unfortunately for him, the mother closed the distance between the two. You should have hit her with the shovel. That's right. You were the one who ran him over in the first place, so don't you dare lay another finger on his head, murderer. I've been following your every order, but look where that's gotten us. For the sake of our children, I think it's time you start listening to me. We're going to continue taking care of our son because he has a nasty accident and needs our help. Do you understand? The wife raised the knife at his face. I said, do you understand? Yes, I understand. Don't hurt me. Good. And now we're going to have ourselves a nice little dinner. Any objections? The room stayed silent. Mother's demeanor became gentler, but she continued to grip that knife as if her life depended on it. She has had like a full psychological break at this point. And she needs help. I'm glad. Sweetheart, please follow Mommy and help her out. We're returning your brother to the bedroom. I think things are a little too loud for him around here. You two have been so inconsiderate. What did the girl do? Oh, everyone's smiling. Happy birthday. Unwrap it already. Wow, a bike? Thank you. Oh, the sun is talking. I don't like this. Sure thing, sport. How about we break it in after the party? Yes, please. This is the best day ever. Can I ride it too? No way. You still need training wheels. Mommy's being mean. Don't get too rowdy. You still have to unwrap the last of your presents. Who wants another slice of cake? Me. Was this like before that happened or something? Oh, it's fully green. Are you mad at Mommy and Daddy for hurting you? Oh, thank goodness. I feel so relieved. Yeah, she needs this for like some sort of closure, but like also she is fucking crazy. I say that as someone with bipolar. She is fucking crazy. I'm always telling your daddy to be more careful when he's driving, but he never listens. Gross. The mother picked out another maggot and tossed it into a bin. It was starting to overflow, but at least she was making progress removing the squirming creatures. I know that feels much better, doesn't it? She was a patient woman. His healing process shouldn't take much longer. It has been 10 days. I was a little late today waking you up. Please get dressed as soon as possible. Gross. Bottle after bottle, the mother used her aerosol freshener. Look at her face. She's slowly starting to come to terms, I think. To help air out the room. Thwack! With her other hand, she squashed a scuttling beetle. By now, she was certain that something went bad in the pantry for there to be such a large bug infestation. As much as she wasn't looking forward to it, she may have to clean out the entire pantry. She smacked a fly who was resting on the top of her son's head. Oh my, I'm sorry for using the fly swatter on you. Did that hurt? While the mother was hard at work cleaning the house, the daughter now avoid going inside as much as possible. Oh, makes sense. Every day when she came home, her brother's body would be happily greeting her. She just couldn't handle the rotting sights and smells anymore. The smell of his extrudation was overpowering. Green and brown juices dripped from his head and soaked his clothes. It wasn't rotting meat or spoiled milk anymore. It was death. No kids wanted to be near her either. In the corner of her eye, she could see them gag and hold their noses, as if she was the deceased one herself. Yeah, she sleeps next to it every night. Probably smells real bad, and all her clothes and her hair. Are you sure you don't want to stay with me a little longer? I can't. I have to get back home to my wife. Oh. But you've been looking so stressed recently. Is everything okay at home? The father let out a deep sigh. Not particularly. Oh dear. Oh dear indeed. I haven't been treated the best recently. My wife has been demanding, screaming at me for the littlest things. She's scuttling around like she wears the pants around the house now. I can't get any peace and quiet in my own home. I need to show her who's boss. She can't keep pushing me around like this. I'm a man, for God's sake. I wish you luck. You always keep crawling back to me to lick your wounds. He is about to die. He is about to die. She is about to murder his ass. Murder her first, in this case, sir. Where have you been? It's rather late. Work. Our son was asking about you today because you failed to show up for supper again. You're worrying him sick. Every single day you talk about that blasted son. I don't like how you do your job and make the money. I take care of the house and the kids. Why is that so hard for you to understand? Yet you call me foolish. He was humiliated from how quickly she shut him down. At least she couldn't dictate his actions outside of the home. He berated himself for his cowardice. Oh my god. Wow. Darling, I'm sorry that dinner was a little rushed. Taking care of your brother was consuming most of my day today. Oh, he's got like a 5 o'clock shadow and shit now. It was worse than rushed. More like she threw random ingredients, inedible or not, into a pot. The past week it seemed that most of her meals were ending in this similar fate. The daughter poked a semi-charred apple with her fork. Oh, tell me that there is like either her actual brother or like a maggot in there. There was a maggot living in her food. Oh my, what if I told you about not washing your hands before you eat? You need to wash them more frequently. Were you playing outside? Stop it already. How can you two continue pretending everything is normal? Dear, tell her that everything is normal. The father looked like he was in a trance, rhythmically chewing his food without a care in the world. Listen to your mother more. She is correct. It's not true. Why do you insist on talking back? You're a child. You don't understand anything. Treat your parents with some respect. The mother began to spoon feed the body again, the spoon's contents also heartily containing maggots. A milk-white maggot slipped from the softening pumpkin head and landed onto the spoon, oblivious to the mother. Yummy, isn't it? Oh God, she was going to retch. I'm going to my room. As you should. No supper for the rest of the night. She don't want it. And now she's just there. The daughter was forced to cart the body back into their bedroom, making sure to avoid touching his slimy body as little as possible. His abdomen, distended beyond belief, was straining to rip through his clothes. The gorging insects were taking delight in how he was a ballroom ready to pop. Who knew what putrid horrors were trapped inside him? The girl fell to her knees, weeping. Mother kept saying everything was fine, but of course it wasn't. What wouldn't she give to return to normalcy? Whatever did she do to deserve this torture? If only she and her brother hadn't been roughhousing when the car came. When she looked up, the body was now facing away from her, giving her some semblance of privacy during her grief. Or was he always facing that way? She couldn't remember. Thank you. Of course there would be no response, yet she still felt the urge to say something. I miss you, brother. I miss you so much. Gross. School, now. Oh my god. Another day, another garbage bag full of empty bug spray. The mother dabbed any leakage from the son's body alongside some flaking adiposity. I'm gonna look that up. I don't know what that is. Adiposity. Adipocere. It's a grayish, waxy substance formed by the decomposition of soft tissue in dead bodies subjected to moisture. Adipocere. It was too much of a mess moving him in and out of the wheelchair anymore, not to mention ruining her upholstery. She might as well clean him where he sat. You need to take care of yourself more. The last time I sponge bathed you was when you were a wee baby. Not to say you're not still mommy's little baby. She was frustrated with how many rags it took to maintain her son's cleanliness. He was slowly making his way through her favorite dish rags. The pelican pattern one she was using was soaked with a murky browns and greens. Hold on, I'm gonna snuff really hard, but I'm gonna make it so you can't hear me. Okay, that feels a little bit better. Ugh. I don't know why it is, but whenever I'm, like, talking, I slowly just build up phlegm, and it sucks. I don't know if it's from my, respiratory infection. I don't know if I'm over that or not. I still cough randomly, so probably not. Her poor pumpkin seemed to be covered in a greasy black substance. It wasn't his job to clean the stovetop. The mother dabbed harder against his arm, accidentally scraping off a small section of skin. She groaned when more fluid oozed from the spot. Your sister has been refusing to help with laundry. Can you believe it? I wish she was as well behaved as you. No one wants to spend time with dear old mom. That's why you've always been mommy's favorite. Oh. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Hello, yes, this is the mother. What, my daughter said that? About that, I think a raccoon died in the walls. We're going to have it get looked at. Yeah, she's just overreacting. Children have such vivid imaginations. Her fist clenched. That girl! She's about to fucking murder her daughter. Because the school bus had long since left, the mother had to drive to school to pick her up. They drove back in silence with the daughter awkwardly fidgeting. The mother looked like she was about to blow a gasket. Okay, explain yourself. Your teacher said that you were insistent on not returning home because there's a corpse in our house. Do you know how embarrassed I was? But it's true. There are insects crawling all over him in the house. I don't know how much more I can take. I feel so sick. The mother glanced at the body. What's that, darling? She's being quite rude? Yes, I agree with you. Mom, he's dead. He will never respond. When will you do something about it? It's awful living here. What a horrible thing to say about your brother. I thought I raised you better than that. Everything has gone downhill since he died. You don't do my hair bow anymore. The food is rotten. Daddy barely ever comes home, and I can't stand all the smell. I know you're still grieving, but when will you ever get it through your thick head? The mother's eyes widened at the reddening of her hand into her weeping daughter on the floor. The woman had spanked both of her children for misbehaving before, but she had never stricken their faces. You hit me! Sweetie, I didn't mean it. I don't know what came a hold of me. You know I'm so stressed from taking care of your brother. I don't know who you are anymore, but you're not my mom. I hate you. Darling. No, you can't hide this anymore. I'm telling the police about you and my brother. She sprinted to the phone, but the mother grabbed her by the hair. Pain seared through the girl's body. You insolent child, after everything I've done for you. It hurts, Mother, it hurts. You're gonna rip my scalp off. A prepubescent girl had no physical power over a fully grown woman. The daughter was dragged across the wood floor, using all of her strength to attempt to release herself. When the mother reached the children's bedroom, she threw the girl inside, the door locked. Let me out! I'm begging you! Mommy is so tired. The poor wretched girl banged and banged again on the door to no avail. The mother wasn't even listening to her. And I'm sure you're tired of the arguing as well. Daddy disagreed for a while, but he eventually learned that Mommy always knows best. All we have to do is wait a bit longer until your brother heals up. You believe Mommy, don't you? I need to tell your father about this. He will not be pleased. No, I'm sorry. If you were truly sorry, you would have been a better sister. You can be that now. That night, the daughter had a nightmare. Maggots covered every square inch of her body, twisting and writhing to find any way to burrow deeper inside. She would have screamed if her mouth wasn't equally stuffed with maggots. The white worms slithered across the remains of her tongue, bashed against the walls of her pumpkin head, trying to escape. She could feel their tiny mouths eating away at her, bite by bite. Hello there, my sweet baby boy. I was just checking up on you. Did I disturb your sleep? No, she wasn't her brother. Leave her alone. You haven't fallen asleep yet. Are you having trouble? I can read you a bedtime story if you would like. Which one do you want to hear? If I remember correctly, the ugly duckling was your favorite. She sat down next to the daughter, unaware of the slimy, squirming creatures crawling their way onto the hem of her dress. Buzzing blowflies danced above the two. And she began to read. The air was suffocating. Good night. May you have sweet dreams. She kissed the pumpkin head. Dark slime clung to her lips from her sweet goodnight smooch. The room fell into the darkness, leaving the daughter alone, coughing and gagging into the night. Yes, ma'am, my daughter is at home, too. The kids' measles have gotten pretty bad, but they should be returning to school any day now. Yes, of course I've been homeschooling them in the meantime. What do you think I've been doing this entire time? My babies will be back when they're ready, not a day sooner. You can stop calling now. The mother was exhausted from the incessant phone calls. Just yesterday, the electric company had threatened to shut down if the power bills weren't paid, but she knew she had paid them. The son's skin looked even worse today. Concerningly worse. His skin was a soaked paper towel, tearing just as easily. The mother brought out more of her makeup kit, ready to powder all of the putrefaction. Ugh. Though unlike her previous attempts, her son's skin refused to obey. Like a silk glove, the skin slipped off, landing silently onto the ground. The ease of such a feat shocked her. Then more and more and more, until he was resembling some bloated lizard emerging from his molt. With each opening, a drip of black stew-like goo kept trickling down his limbs. No, don't do this. She pressed her hands against him to hamper any further sloughing. In retaliation, a geyser of thick fluid spurted from his torso, accompanied by air too foul to describe. I'm not screaming. Gross. Finally, the stream of bodily dequellant came to rest. The child in front of her was partially deflated, sagging further into his soaked seat. This wasn't good. Why wouldn't her husband take their child to the hospital? The mother was damn near ready to herself, but she knew the jostling from the trip would make things worse. Even the lightest touch of her hands was not safe anymore. Tears welled in her eyes. What more could she do? On the contrary, the son's face was twisted into some relieved grin. The tired woman looked down. Her dress's hem was dyed in an assortment of dark fluid. Touching her dress only further coated her hands in the mucus. After the mother spent the rest of the day cleaning the mess, she bathed and went to bed. Anytime the daughter's door was unlocked, it was to slip in food. The timing is irregular, making it difficult to calculate when she should escape. She could hardly eat the food anyway. Not one meal passed without a wriggling maggot hidden inside. Being trapped in this festering room made her entire body itch. She brushed off a hungry fly crawling on her arm. Their usual food source had been relocated to the living room for several days now, but they were more than happy to bother her. The daughter remembered Job, a figure from the Bible. Despite all the suffering and adversity he was given, he never gave up hope and was rewarded in the end. She could make it through this too. One power the daughter had over her mother was retaining her wits. The police are here, but why? The mother glanced at the room behind her. Hide him and make sure the police don't hear the children. Good afternoon, officers. What business do you have here? Excuse me, ma'am, but we were called here today because of a smell complaint. One of your neighbors isn't happy. Yes, sirs, everything is all right. We've been having all sorts of pest problems and been doing everything we can to clean them out. Insects in the pantry, raccoons in the walls. It's all a living nightmare. Phew, I sure can smell it. Do you have a stinky cheese factory hidden in here? The three awkwardly chuckled. The caller also mentioned that your son hasn't been seen in a while. Yes, it's a case of the measles. I'm afraid he hasn't been improving as quickly as I'd hoped. I've been so weary, everything seems to be piling up. My husband keeps saying he doesn't have time to help. He's always working. The mother wiped her eyes as the policemen lowered their hats to their chests. Oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. We won't bother you any more. Our best wishes for your son getting better. Thank you. You're too kind. I'll be sure to tell him. Oh, because she can't scream. The daughter's mouth was gagged with an old sock. Behind her, her father was tying her arms with rope. The man had little idea how to do it and was trying to barbarically force the limbs into a position they shouldn't go. Your mother cares about us, you know that, don't you? You can see how much she loves your brother. She'll come around and then we can go back to being a family. Why did her father keep listening to that monster? The daughter let out a muffled wail. Finally, the man turned to stare at her. Instead of a cold glare, he looked pain from heartbreak. He placed what might have been a loving hand on her shoulder, but he seemed too lost to tell. Yes, that's it. She was his child, remember? Surely he realized what he was doing to her. Any trace of empathy vanished when he heard the returning high heels of Mother. What took you so long? Come with me to the entrance. Her arms were bright red from struggling against the rope. No, don't leave her. On the opposite side of the room, the son's untied body was mocking her. A large section of hand ligament and muscle dribbled onto the wheelchair seat. Eventually, the police drove away. The parents did not return to unbind her. Was it because they forgot, or did they know she would attempt to escape again? God, like a whole arm is missing from this bitch now. Yep, that's it. Both the father and the mother were staring at the black limb on the floor. It was soft and delicate, like wet tissue paper. Likewise, the child was rapidly falling apart, his mushy pumpkin head barely attached to the neck. I thought after receiving his new head he would be recovering, but every day he seems worse and worse. What's wrong? What should we do? That's it. What if we replace the body too? His body wasn't compatible with the head, so we should find a new body that is. The neighbor's son, they're the same age. Oh my god, she's going to actually murder another child. Bring the child here tonight and don't keep me waiting. Our son needs his body more than that brat does. Oh my god. They're going to actually murder another child on purpose this time. The daughter was awoken by the muffled sounds of struggling and whimpering. What was going on? A child's scream in the basement answered her question. Would she be next? The daughter did the only thing she could think of. Hail Mary, I never do these, so I'm not good at it. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women. Footsteps grew closer to her bedroom. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners. Your mother wants to see you. And I'm not screaming. Oh my god, they actually murdered another child. There was an uninvited person in the basement and he was dead. He was fresh, and the pumpkin on his head was even fresher. Her parents really did kill someone. In the corner, her body's brother was callously cast aside. Look, darling, look. Your brother is all better now. Aren't you happy? We don't have to worry anymore. The mother stepped towards the daughter, completely drenched in blood. The daughter wanted to vomit, but the father held her still, unable to run away from her maniacal matriarch. I'm so glad you agree. Things will finally go back to normal. Don't forget you have school tomorrow, so you can take your brother with you. She was prancing around the wheelchair, beyond proud of her newest work. The daughter knew that within a month the body would finish rotting and all the torment would begin anew. While the mother spoke, the new corpse was already turning pale. I was so busy preparing for today that I completely forgot about dinner. It may be in the middle of the night, but how about we have ourselves a celebratory meal fit for a whole family? The police, and this soon. Yeah, someone's son went missing. You absolute good-for-nothing husband. I should have done it myself. The father simply bowed his head. You've always been so oafish, and thanks to you, you've now ruined it for all of us. Do not let them down here, or they'll take our son away from us. The parents were distracted. Now was her chance. As hard as she could, the daughter bit down on her father's hand, drawing deep blood. He jumped back as the girl burst from his arms and beelined up the stairs. You better rethink that right now. The mother had her butcher knife around the other child's neck. "If you leave us, I'll kill him. You wouldn't want to be responsible for your brother's death again, would you? That would make Mommy very sad. I mean, that kid is already dead." "I'm not afraid to do it. Don't take another step." For a split second, the daughter almost pitied her mother. Throughout this whole month, the mother kept denying and making excuses, completely delusional that nothing was wrong with her other child. Even now, she was treating this decapitated corpse like a hostage with value. "What's that, darling? You want me to kill her instead? Time to run, child. That does make sense. I've always loved you more anyway." "Time to run, child!" The older woman faced her daughter, her knife already poised for attack. She wasn't kidding. "Sweetheart, listen to your mother. Come down these stairs right now. You've already caused her enough trouble." The daughter was so close to escaping, but her legs refused to move. Gloria. Her heart was ready to burst out of her chest. She would know that voice anywhere. "Brother?" In the corner of the room, a figure turned his pitiful head to face her. "But how? He was supposed to be dead." "I'm sorry for everything turned out this way. It wasn't your fault. Gloria, you need to run now." And with those last words, his body collapsed back to the floor, bursting into a blackened sludge. Now he was truly gone. That closer was just what she needed. With no more time to spare, the daughter grit her teeth and sprinted up the rest of the stairs. Out of the house, she barreled and into a policeman's arms. The mother's howling was already far in the distance. "Hey, be careful, that's a child. Are you hurt? What is your name?" It had been so long since the last time she touched a warm human being. Her resilience was finally rewarded. "Don't worry, young lady. We'll take care of this. You're safe now." You cover the seeds with dirt, sprinkle some water every so often, and they'll be ripe for picking in October. Wow, that's so cool. What's the biggest pumpkin you've ever grown? Hard to say. Maybe the size of our car? No way, Daddy. You're such a liar. The father chuckled. "But I have won a blue ribbon at the state fair before. You should have seen the look on your mother's face. Having fun out there?" "Yeah, Daddy is showing us how to grow crops." "Dinner is on the table. You three better hurry or it'll get cold. Last one in is a rotten egg." "Wait up, you have a head start." "Daddy, why are you running too? Your legs are longer. That's not fair." Oh boy. The mother put up a valiant struggle in staying with her deceased victims, but she was eventually dragged away, kicking and screaming. Ultimately, she was institutionalized. Oh yeah. The father was charged with kidnapping and shortly afterwards committed suicide in prison. No one would mourn his death. With no family left to claim guardianship over the daughter, she was simply shipped to the nearest orphanage. For the longest time, this tragedy became the talk of the town. Who could have known that the quiet but kind-hearted family were host to monsters? It was rather lonesome in the orphanage. No matter how many times the daughter bathed herself, fellow children constantly remarked about her repugnant smell. She couldn't tell if it was because they were mocking or if the girl could truly never wash away the scent of death from her house. "Oh, you poor child, I can't begin to imagine your pain. Don't worry, we'll find a good family to take care of you." At least the nuns were kind enough to ignore her smell. She was able to make friends with one of the older nuns, who was well known throughout the place for her baking skills. "Oh God, I baked a nice pumpkin pie today. Would you like a piece?" "Shoo, you silly fly, this pie is not for you." "I'm sorry they're such a nuisance. The flies have been unusually bold recently, and I don't know why. If you would like, I could cut another slice for you." "Toss it, please. I'm not hungry." "Are you sure? I'm begging you. I can't bear to look at it anymore." "As you wish, my dear." It sounds of flies. Ugh. God, afterward. Okay, cool. So now we've unlocked these other things and I want to look at it. So thank you for stomaching. Also, it said gore, but like honestly, that wasn't particularly gory. I was expecting much worse. Thank you for stomaching through The Pumpkin Eater. Countless hours of research were spent making this visual novel as scientifically accurate as possible. Death is an unavoidable process and may be sad, but everything must come to an end one day, and through decomposition, many more forms of life can spring forward. Flies and beetles have a good home for their young. Plants thrive on the nitrogen and carbon that our body releases. Though many shows delve into forensic science, the application of science to crime and law, very few showcase a less than fresh body. Even in the movie Psycho, a concept similar to ours where the antagonist believes his mother corpse is still alive, was only shown as a mummified skeleton. Decomposition is an understandably gruesome subject that our team thought would be interesting to tackle. Understanding how the human body rots is still a heavily studied field to this day. There are many factors that contribute to how fast a body decomposes, such as temperature, weather, scavengers, or even how much surface area of the body is exposed. It can take as quick as 2 weeks or as much as years. For our story, we had to assume average room temperature, low humidity, constant disturbance due to the mother, and some prolonged contact with moisture on the second day. Though the mother constantly sprayed bug spray to prevent the pesky insects from getting inside the house, there was still plenty of access for flies and microbes to feast upon the son's body. The story takes place over 25 days, but if the parents had continued to keep the body, it would have skeletonized within 50 days. Because of the various stages of decomposition, the son also went through many visual changes as the story progressed. Though relatively normal at first, he becomes discolored, bloats, and eventually falls apart in a mushy mess. If we had more time, as this was created for a 1-month jam, we would have drawn more subtle visual variations to his body. Not only did we want to focus on the decomposing body, we also wanted to write about the family's straining relationship over the month. We were very inspired by Resident Evil 7's Baker family and the Amityville Horror Luz family. Both series involved an originally loving family that eventually became insane due to various events. We wanted to avoid supernatural elements, though, as scientific accuracy was our biggest priority. Pumpkin Eater is definitely taboo and niche due to the nature of decomposition, and we do believe it would make a good exploitative film. I honestly think that it would be super cool to see this as a film. This would be terrifying and disturbing as a suspense film, but I think it would be amazing. I think it would be great. Special thanks to Science Direct and Documenting Reality for supplying us with references. So, timeline. So, day 1, Death of Son, Pallor Mortis immediate, Rigor Mortis, Algor Mortis, and lividity from Liver Mortis occurs at night, end of Rigor Mortis in afternoon. Autolysis causing marbling of the green-blue color patterns, which were like the bruises, and the blowflies appear due to smell. Body starts to bloat in the abdomen. Petrification stage begins. The blowflies maggots have hatched, and the skin is blistering and peeling. Hair and nail falls out in clumps. Smell becomes worse as black putrefaction begins, attracts insects like beetles and mites. Skin turns black, organs almost liquefy, biggest amount of bloat. Bloat slowly disappears due to body collapse. Waxy, forget how to say that, appears on the skin. Tissue softening and liquidating, draining out of the body. Skin heavy and slowing off. Butyric fermentation begins, and its butyric acid causes a cheesy smell. Didn't know that. Oh, cool. I'm going to actually be able to look at it. Cool. Ligaments soften and skins degrade. Advanced decay appearing towards the end. Decomposition is so severe, bone becomes visible and limbs start separating. So this is what it was looking like for the most part. And then it turned green. And then it turned the darkest color, and now it's kind of like just, also, I hate that they put like a little pupil in the eyes. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. I hate it. Glossary. Corpse wax. Breakdown of fats into wax when subjected to moisture. Internal body temperature reaches equilibrium with outdoor temperature. Bacteria in the body. Active decay. Bloat, etc., etc., etc. A lot of this is stuff that I had talked about when I looked up the stuff. But yeah, this was fascinating. It really was quite terrifying in its own way. Definitely gross. Fucked up that they put this as like the screen where it's like, you know that there's some shit up there. What does it look like without? So if I turn the gore off, what does that look like? I'm just gonna do it real fast. I just want to know what the gore, like, how does this even look without the gore? Oh, they just literally black out the whole, they black out the whole thing. The whole kit and caboodle. Yeah, it's just blacked out. all the way through, even to the new one where they kill that neighbor's kid. I mean, that's a fascinating way to do it, I guess. I was kind of just thinking that it would just be like, just the pumpkin? Something? I don't know. I don't know what I expected. I didn't expect it to just be blacked out, though. But yeah, that was a super interesting game. I liked it a lot. I do think it would make a killer movie. I was honestly thinking that while playing this. I was honestly like, man, this would be a killer movie to do from like the point of view of like third person omniscient, where it's like mostly focusing on the girl whenever she's home, and then focusing on the mother when the girl isn't home, the same way that it does in the game. Because honestly, that would be such an interesting premise to use. And then like it would be really interesting to see it with a lot of practical effects. It would be very, very interesting to see it with practical effects. And it would be really interesting to have a sort of thing where like the practical effects could have two different like sons. One that the girl sees, one that the daughter sees whenever she has to like sleep in the same bedroom and stuff like that. And then one that the mother sees when no one else is home, and it's actually played by someone who's like actually there and alive and not covered in practical effects or otherwise is like a dummy. I think that would be so interesting to really like hammer in how like off the wall she is in this. Or if you tried to bury the lead, it could also be very interesting where like he always appears as someone who is actually alive and talking and has just a pumpkin on his head for some fucking reason, but then you like find out in like flashbacks or as the daughter sees things that like it's a corpse. I don't know, it would be such a cool movie. It really would. And I would love it if someone would actually like do that. I'm not even the person that made this, and I would be like first in line, like, yep, I want to see the Pumpkin Eater movie, guys. Give it to me. If that happens, you best be like putting it out on my Twitter or something and telling me and tagging me and being like, Rex, someone did it. Someone did it. Because I would want to watch it. I would want to watch it really bad. But anyways, this was super fun. The other game that I have for tomorrow, so we are going to have a different stream tomorrow. I've got, let me pull it up here in my things. I have, no, not that one. I want Steam stuff. I've got The Fall of Lazarus, which is a game that is like in space, and I wake up from cryogen, and I think it's gonna look very interesting. It is supposed to be a little spoopy, but not super spoopy. I would say that this is scarier just per the premise than the other game is, but I do want to play it because I think it looks cool. I did spend some time today, yesterday, and the day before grinding on the Minecraft. So as far as the eye can see, does have a few more things that I've gathered. I flew around with the Elytra and I got up on one of the end looking islands and I killed the weird fuckers in there, very carefully, and I managed to get one of the shulker boxes. So now I have a shulker box, which is cool, I guess. But I am going to go through and like on Monday I'll continue playing and I'll continue doing the different quests and stuff, because right now that's what we're focusing on, is trying to get the quests done, or at least leading up to where I can fly off of that planet, I guess. I did go through and raid some more of the spaceship areas. I got some more of the recordings. I don't have all of the recordings yet, but I'm working on it. But I think that I'm gonna just do a bunch of the quests the next time that I go through and stream that. But anyway, this has been a ton of fun. I did enjoy this immensely, and it is a fascinating story, and I would 100% want people to spam the shit out of any of my socials if this ever gets turned into a movie, because I 100% want to watch it. But the people who made this did a really, really good job. I'm giving them like the A-OK, like nice, like good soup, but like good game. Good game. But anyways, this has been a lot of fun. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow when I play Fall of Lazarus. Sorry. And I hope that you have a good rest of your day. See ya!